Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the Mock Draft Guy YouTube channel. We are in the home stretch. We are down to the 4 teams remaining. Obviously, by the title, you know that we are tackling the Denver Broncos 2023 7-round mock draft. These are going to be in successive days. Usually, I wait 1 or 2 days in between I upload these videos, but I do have some other videos that I want to get to, and I just want to get this series over with for the most part. So these videos will be coming out in 4 successive days. So you'll be seeing this on Friday night. So Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, these 4 videos will be out. And that gives me about 10 days to do the other ideas that I have. Super exciting. I also am going to be doing a live stream for the first round of the 2023 NFL Draft. So please make a note of that. Please subscribe if you are new here and you don't want to miss it. Hit the notification bell. You will definitely know that I am live. So I just want to get the rest of these out of the way. Now, that doesn't mean that obviously I didn't do my homework. I just want to do them a little bit quicker than usual because, got bigger fish to fry at this point in the draft season. We're getting down to the nitty gritty. We're getting down to those final 2 weeks. And I don't want to miss anything that I've been planning. So without further delay, let's get into it. Now, the Denver Broncos are an interesting case. Obviously, they had a tremendous offseason, bringing in a lot of good players in a lot of areas of need. So the fact that they only have 5 draft picks doesn't really make me feel as bad. I do think with back-to-back picks at 67 and 68, full disclaimer beforehand, I do think they will be trading down, to be quite honest with you. I don't think that they'll be making back-to-back picks. I think they're going to want to try and get a pick in between 139 and 195, and then probably one pick in round 7, and then maybe even a pick for next year, like a day 3 pick next year. So I could totally see them trading down, because I could totally see them trading 67, because you don't have to wait that long for your next pick because it's number 68. But since I don't normally do trade downs, I've only done 1 video this entire season with a trade in the 7-round team mock, which was the Kansas City Chiefs. I'm going to stick with the 5 picks that I have. And with the first pick, it doesn't really matter who I tackle with the first pick. Obviously, it's back-to-back picks, but I think the 2 biggest areas of need when you look at the Denver Broncos depth chart is interior offensive line and another boundary quarterback. You could argue that, defensive end in the 3-4 is a big need as well. Even after bringing in Zach Allen, there's not really much on that defensive line. That is true here, but at number 67 and number 68, there are a couple players that I think I should just get out of the way. By the way, before I make these picks, this is not going to be the sexiest mock draft that you've ever seen for the Denver Broncos, probably. I'm really going more for need and more logical picks here. Maybe I'll take a BPA at some point, depending on how the board falls, but I'm just really going for need at this point. With 5 picks, I feel like you can't really make luxury picks. You just kind of got to go in, have a game plan, and then just come out. So at number 67, I'm going with Luke Wypler here, out of Ohio State. I know some people are going to see Joe Tippmann there and say, why don't you take him? Let's be realistic. At pick number 67, Joe Tippmann will not be there at this point in the draft. So I'm just going to completely slide past that. Luke Wypler is a plug-and-play starter at pick number 67. He's a true center with tremendous athleticism and good size. Lloyd Cushenberry was not good last year. The year before that, he was okay. And then the year before that, he was pretty poor. So I think it's time with this whole offensive line, revamp that the Denver Broncos have done this offseason, bringing in Ben Powers, bringing in Mike McGlinchey. I think you complete it for now with getting a plug-and-play starter at center. And I think you can't get better than Wypler at this point in the draft. You bring Cushenberry back down the depth chart to where he probably best fits, which is a backup guard, backup center, and you get someone in there that could be good right away. And I think that's Luke Wypler at pick number 67, so I am going to take him. And then, no, I'm not trading this pick, even though I did have a couple trade offers there. At pick number 68, I mentioned before, I'm going with a boundary quarterback here. Same kind of deal with Joe Tippmann. I don't think Tyreek Stevenson will be sitting here at pick number 68. If that's the case, then you go and you get him. But I'm going a little bit more realistic here. Garrett Williams is a player out of Syracuse that I like a lot. Early on in the draft season, if you guys have been fans of my channel for that long, first off, thank you. And second off, you know that I was super high on Garrett Williams throughout the entire season for the most part, as so high as maybe in week 2 or week 3, the mock draft that I did. I had him at like number 11. Yeah, I know, crazy times early on in the season. I also had Andre Carter up there as well early on in the season, and Tyler Van Dyke if we really want to get into it. But yeah, Garrett Williams is a guy who had a strong start to the season. Then he battled some injuries, kind of fell down the pecking order in terms of the draft eligible corners. But this is a guy who brings something different to the table than I think most other cornerbacks in this draft bring, and that's exceptional tackling and run defense. This is a cornerback like Cam Taylor-Britt last year and like Sauce Gardner last year that welcomes defending the run. That's not something that you see from boundary cornerbacks in today's NFL. Is it a big part of their game? Yes, like Jalen Ramsey is a great run defending cornerback as well. That's a huge part of being a great, well-rounded corner. And Garrett Williams not only has great ball skills, has good size and length, he's also a tremendous run defender and a good tackler as well. So I think that getting someone like that at pick number 68 is a grand slam. Someone that could start opposite Patrick Surtain, the second, who is arguably the best cornerback in all of football. You get someone that could start opposite him on the boundary, and you take care of your secondary for now. Then at pick number 108, I mentioned it before, a defensive end could definitely be in the cards within one of those first two picks. It's going to be in the cards at the third pick here for me. At pick number 108, I'm going with Isaiah McGuire out of Missouri. 6'4", 270 pounds. The one knock against him, I guess you would say, is his 4.76 speed in the 40-yard dash. That's more of a concern, honestly, for me if you're playing a 4-3. If you're a defensive end in a 3-4 and you're playing more inside, the 4.7 doesn't necessarily bother me. He's got really good length. He's been productive at the collegiate level. He's a great athlete as well. He tested third in production, athletic, and total score at the combine. He's got good, strong, long arms as well, and he's a good run defender. I think this would be a really nice addition to kind of complete that defensive line for now. Replacing Draymond Jones with Zach Allen is legitimately like, I don't want to say it's a downgrade because I don't want to disrespect Zach Allen. I think that he's a good player. But yeah, it's a downgrade. I mean, Draymond Jones was spectacular. He got paid from Seattle. They brought in Zach Allen. You need to bring someone else that could start at that other defensive end position. And I think that that's Isaiah McGuire. He could start right away, and he could be really, really productive. Then at pick number 139, I'm going to go back to the offensive line, and I'm going to go with a tackle. Besides for Mike McGlinchey and Garrett Bowles, there's some really, really treacherous depth behind those guys. God forbid one of those guys gets hurt for a long period of time. I don't think there's anyone on the roster that could slot in and take over and play at a replacement level for them. Warren McClendon is a really interesting case. I think McClendon is the type of player that could really, really succeed in the NFL if he gets a chance to be like a swing tackle and develop into a starter over time. He was a part of a tremendous offensive line at Georgia where he's not going to get nearly enough credit because Broderick Jones last year played over 400 pass blocking snaps without giving up a single sack. But I'm pretty sure Warren McClendon was right up there and only giving up one sack during his pass blocking reps last season. He's another exceptional later round lineman that I think with the right development could develop into a long-term replacement for either Garrett Bowles or, I don't want to say Mike McGlinchey, but could be a really, really valuable depth piece and potentially a starter down the line. So I'm going to take someone like Warren McClendon at pick number 139. You can't really beat that value in the fifth round. Then at pick number 195, which is the last pick for the Denver Broncos in this mock draft, I know wide receiver is not a position of need. I get it. But at the same time, I do think that even though they explored trading Courtland Sutton and said that they didn't want to trade him, kind of the same deal with Jerry Jeudy, I think either one of these four guys gets dealt. And to me, that's Jerry Jeudy, Courtland Sutton, Tim Patrick, or KJ Hamler. I know they also brought in Marquez Callaway. That's a nice little piece to bring in as well. So they're pretty deep at the wide receiver position, which also makes me think that they definitely are going to move one of those guys. I think that they would get the most in return for Jerry Jeudy, but I do think that with the current contract situation, I do think Courtland Sutton probably is the bigger candidate to go, I would say. I think that Also, he's probably more appealing because it would cost a lot less to get him. And he's still one of the more slept on wide receivers in the NFL when he is fully healthy. So I would take, like, if I would offer a fourth and a sixth rounder for Cortland Sutton. That's just me. He's also on my fantasy team like every single year, so I might have a little bit of bias there. But what I'm trying to get down to is I fully expect by the time the draft rolls around, that there will be a wide receiver traded. Now, we've seen a lot of draft day trades the past few seasons. Could a big draft day trade come where Jerry Jeudy or Cortland Sutton leaves the Broncos, which suddenly leaves them in a day 3 situation where they can get a wide receiver? I think so. And I think Dante Demas Jr. is a really nice boundary wide receiver to potentially replace one of those two guys, or one of those four guys, rather. 6'3", 215 pounds. He's not going to blow you away with his speed. I believe in the mid 4.5s, so not great speed. But at the same time, it's pretty comparable to what Cortland Sutton brings. He brings that big frame with good, not great speed as well. Really nice catch radius, good strong hands. This is a guy that I've been high on since last year, actually, at the NFL draft. I thought he was going to be more of a 4th, 5th round pick last year. Went back to school. You know, depending on who you talk to, it kind of varies. I've seen him go as high as the end of the 3rd round, which I think is kind of crazy. And he's still sitting here at the 6th round. So I think that even with the depth, even if they trade one of those guys, they still have really good depth at the wide receiver position. I still think that if someone like Demas Jr. is on the board after a traded wide receiver is left, I think you bring him in just because of the everything that he brings to the table kind of sort of feels like a Cortland Sutton type of replacement. So even though it's not the biggest need, I was thinking safety here as well. I was thinking maybe another defensive lineman. I was also kicking around linebacker and running back. I can't really justify linebacker. I feel like they're good with what they have. Same thing with running back. You know, Javonte Williams coming back. They also have Samaje Perine as well. I don't really think drafting another running back would really do anything for anyone. So I'm going with a player that could potentially make an impact in a more fantasy situation, I would say. But I'm going to go with Demas Jr. here at 195. And just like that, ladies and gentlemen, there you have it. There is my full 7th-round 2023 Denver Broncos mock draft. I think even with 5 picks, I think we made the absolute most out of those 5 picks. So let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. Please leave a like. Please leave a comment. Please subscribe to the channel. If you haven't, we got a lot of exciting things coming out up until draft day and then past draft day as well. So we're coming with the year-long content this year. Obviously in smaller spurts, but it's going to be there all year long, so you definitely don't want to miss it. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I hope I see you in the next one.